So then we also have two reports that fall under the principal's report. And the first one is the spring athletic summary. So I'd invite Tom and Sean back up to the table.
Good evening. The memo that's up there kind of gives a summary of what the documents that we attached, and one was dropped on your desk up there because that updates, as of today, actually, what was happening, because some of the sports obviously are still continuing. But a quick summary is this year in the spring we saw a slight increase overall. The increases in baseball and soccer that had gone up 9 and 10 respectively was a pretty significant increase in their case. Boys tennis had a really slight increase from 20 to 24, but considering the movement in the 2-year trend, that's a good sign for them.
Mayor, can you go to 55 so we can see the numbers that Tom's referring to? That's what you're referring to, right?
It's on the memo.
It's on the memo.
Your first sheet is on the page.
Yeah, and then that kind of summarizes all of them, but
Okay.
most of the other sports went up a couple here or there or down, so no significant changes in most of the other sports. Pretty much stayed the same, or again, changed a little bit, but a slight increase overall. I will kind of highlight some of the some of the spring female sports, starting with the co-ed Special Olympics track. They did compete at the spring games in Aurora. They had their state qualifiers listed. These students on this list will be invited in June to get their certificates from you and be honored and presented here, because everything will be complete by then, obviously. The badminton team there had positive records on all levels and had a couple second place finishes, had some good invites, including our own. And they're, again, continually getting increased numbers and a higher level of competition in the events that they've been performing at. Girls soccer had an outstanding record at 14-4-3, second place in the conference. Softball, 17-11, junior varsity and freshmen had very powerful records at 23-3 and 13-4. The girls track and field has been completed, and they've already we had one state qualifier, Isabel, who was in the discus, and that was over last weekend. The girls water polo had an extremely good record this year at 23-8, and had 2 championships at the Elk Grove and at our own RB invite. And currently for the female sports, softball will be playing Thursday in their regional, so they're not complete yet. And John has one sport, the boys baseball, that's not complete. So.
And just so the board knows, I know we have some new board members this year. Tom scheduled all the girls' athletic teams, and I scheduled all the boys' athletic teams. So we were including part of the hiring of coaches in those areas and also the evaluations in that. So just so you know, not that Tom favors the girls and I favor the boys, that's just who we report on.
I have 3 daughters.
So he does favor girls. I have 2 boys, so it worked out good. So as far as boys sports go, going the way Tom has it listed on the breakout, baseball still currently playing. Lost a tough game tonight with Nazareth, a good program. So they are currently 25-7 overall, and they open up in the state playoffs on Thursday at Mount Carmel. And should be some good matchups over there. Had a great season so far. And they finished in second place in the MSC Blue Division this year. You can see the success on all levels for baseball, sophomores and freshmen with very good over 20-win seasons. So looking for some good things. And as Tom said before, their numbers are up. So always a good thing to get the participation numbers there. All conference, Ryan Cermak was the player of the year in the conference, and he's only a junior. So it'd be nice having Ryan come back next year, and he's got a scholarship to Illinois State when he graduates, so he'll be playing there. And a lot of, as you can see on the form, a lot of all academic athletes were very proud of that in our activities in our sports. Moving on to the next boys tennis. New head coach this year, Blake Schaefer, in the building, did a great job, kind of a rebuilding year for boys tennis. Numbers were up, and a highlight would be the second place finish at the Willowbrook Invite. Tom and my alma mater, so we're proud to see us play well at Willowbrook. And a learning process on the JV level. A lot of our boys need to get more involvement in the summer program, so hopefully we'll get those guys and girls signed up for our summer camps this year. And again, many more all academic athletes in the boys tennis program. Moving down to boys water polo, Coach Wolak's team finished up with a 13-17 overall record. Lost to a tough St. Rita team in the sectionals, but a pretty good nucleus coming up next year for him on the JV level. And Charles Roebling had a fine season, all sectional athlete for the boys water polo team. Also a 12-sport athlete, which we're very proud of our athletes that compete 3 sports all 4 years. He's one of them, of a few. There's not as many left as there used to be. Boys track and field still going. We've got 10 athletes going to the state tournament. Mr. Keene's son, one of them. So we congratulate all our boys. As you can see, the athletes listed, state qualifiers: Jason Knoll, Miles Rubio, Brendan Chaika, Jacob Warzala, George Cervanka, Chris Magno, Devin Moody, Jack Sagan, David Keene, and Joshua Ramp will be representing RB on Friday, starting at noon. So we're hoping for some good news down there, and if they got to hustle back for graduation, and then hopefully get back down for the finals on Saturday if they qualify. And they were also MSC Conference champions for the 6th year in a row, so very proud of what they're doing in the program. Boys volleyball, unfortunately lost tonight, so finished up tough loss to Naperville Central. Good program. Boys had a good year, 22-15 overall, and they've got some rebuilding to do with the lower level. Our booster club president, who you met earlier tonight, was also one of our freshman boys volleyball coaches. Did a nice job as a volunteer for us in the program. So, and Jason Bajanis, another fine athlete in that program, got a volleyball scholarship that he'll be playing.
One addition to girls water polo, we had an all-state girl, Tatum Bruno, was just recognized, and Coach Vidrich had brought that down, so we'll be getting her picture taken, and obviously being on the Pride Walls All-State, which is a very high-level accomplishment, obviously.
One of the things that we don't have a report on yet, because some sports are still going, if you were involved with some of the meetings last year, we did produce a document that showed the attendance initiative that we're doing in the athletic department, and that includes being there daily, being on time, being in school. Obviously, grades would improve if you're in school. So I know that overall, as we continue on through the process, we were averaging about 97.5% attendance throughout the spring. So that's an outstanding number for the amount of athletes that we're putting out. And also that goes in conjunction with the GPA. So many of our sports will be recognized by the IHSA for the all-state, all-academic teams as well. So I think we have probably 75% of our teams that will be recognized for that. And that plaque's right outside our office. So if you want to see that, but just want to make mention. So.
Any questions? Or
You guys mentioned 3-sport athletes. How many 3-sport athletes do you have?
2 seniors.
2 seniors?
Yeah, the lower levels, there's more, obviously, but as
We're
they
hoping
get,
they continue on.
as they get to
Yeah,
the senior
the
year,
12 sport is
it does dwindle for lots of obvious reasons, is with specialization, club sports, you know, we've actually had some that just because of classwork, they said, you know what, I just can't do that next sport, and good reasons, you know, but it does take up more time than it did when we were all in school, obviously, and it's changing, but it's very rewarding to see them when they do enjoy it, obviously, when they're involved every season.
So Charlie, and do we know the other one? Who was the other one?
I want to say it was, I don't have it with me.
Brandon, I believe. We recognized him at senior awards.
Yeah, at senior
night.
awards, they got
Okay.
recognized at the senior awards on
Okay.
May 5th.
Tom, John, thank you again for the 3 years. Tom, you're going to stick around in a capacity as a mentor for Brendan, so we appreciate
Yeah,
you
we just
agreeing
have
to that.
discussions and keep.
And Brendan's in the background observing this meeting, so he knows how these things work and ready to jump in with 2 feet. And John, thank you for taking my call 3 years ago when I said, hey, I need an
Glad you
interim.
made the call.
So appreciate all that you have done and help us get on board here.
Thank you.
So thank you again, both
To
of you.
all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.